What's up, folks? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to the Terrible Towel post game show. My name is, I don't know why I said that, but presented, brought to you by SimFBallCritic, live here from the virtual Hinesfield, aka the Still Basement. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are well. We just saw our season finale. As far as regular season, we already know that we will be in the postseason, but we're just going to talk about regular season, and we just saw it. Now, I got a couple different things to talk about tonight. A couple different feelings, if you will. I got a couple different things to go into, and it's funny, man, because I saw some people kind of losing their cool a bit, judging the team, in my opinion, unfairly, or I'm not even gonna say unfairly. I guess I will say judging the team a little strangely, if you will. A little strange to me, being that we didn't have most of our defensive players. We didn't have Ben Roethlisberger, a couple other guys. It's a little weird. But I'll get into it. I'll get into what I'm talking about in a moment. First thing we're gonna do, like we always do, is we're gonna say shout outs and what's up to the early commenters. So let's do that. And then, of course, you know my format, and I'll explain it to you again in case you don't. But let's do this really quick, get this part in and out. So let's say what's up to Patrick Lodge, Sonny Rothmiller, Luis D, Eddie Blair, Donovan Hubbard, Sade. Hello, Miss Sade. How you doing this evening? Yeah, Sade. That's where I'm going to. I will say, I don't know if I will say, really good. Yeah, okay. I agree with that. I was reading where you said excellent, but you're talking about excellent game. So, my bad for mistaking that. But how are you doing? Hopefully you're well. Steel City Batman, Astro X Drip. Who else we got up in here? MIB Master Troy Museum 1979. Long name there, brother. Hyper 5118. My good brother Kenyon in the building. Knight Rider. Lanisha. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Tahaj Edwards. Ali Howard. My good brother Tony is in the building. Who else? Big Dro in the building. Ken Saranaka. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Brother Mark 1992. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing as well? If I didn't say that, I think I already did, but it never hurts to say hello to a second time. Builder's Life. Who else we got? King 419, Y Diggy, Still a Nation 412, and I think we'll end it right about there. I don't want to prolong getting into, the goods, as you will. Let's go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, guys, the way I do the show, most of you guys already know this. First thing I talk about is the opening possession, both defensively and offensively. Excuse the background noise if you're hearing my little chump dog barking in the background. Yes, y'all know why I call him that. I've explained that several times. But anyway, speaking of dogs, let's side note. I went and saw my father yesterday. Me and my wife dropped off some food to him. She cooked a lot of meals, enough for him to have this week and enough for him to freeze, et cetera, et cetera. Just went down. He was able to get my son, his Christmas present, which he was excited about. Bought him a bike. But my older brother, which I say oldest, like it's more than us. He's my only brother. He is really into dogs. He just bought a new dog. For you guys who are familiar with him, he bought a Boerboel. I think it's spelled Boerboel, I think. Check that out. And that's the type of dog that I prefer. Big boys like that. So beautiful Boerboel he bought. 4 months old right now, and the dog is already about 50 pounds. So just to give you guys an idea why I call my wife and my son's dog a little chump dog, because I don't do the little cute cuddly dogs. It's just not me. I like a dog. But anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. What we're going to talk about first, guys, is opening drive for the Steelers offensively and defensively. Let's get into it. Hello, Miss Debbie. I see Miss Debbie is in the chat. I just saw that out the side of my eye, so I want to say hello. I see Rajan39 knows what time it is. Yeah, man, beautiful dog, man, beautiful dog. If I get a chance, man, I'll try to get a picture from my brother and maybe post it in one of the shows just to show you guys, man. He's beautiful looking dog already. Let's see. First offensive possession. Of course, the Steelers got the ball once again first. Cleveland Browns deferred. And what we did there is we came out running the football, man. Steelers come out running the ball. We picked up 6 yards on 2 consecutive runs, and then Mason Rudolph was able to convert a 3rd and 4 to Chase Claypool. And Mason had a chance to run for the first down, I thought, on a 2nd and 5. If you guys remember that, I think he may have had a chance to run for it. I don't know how far he would get. Of course, I'd have to go back and look at the film. But it looked like there was a lane there, off to the left side of the offense where he may have been able to possibly run, but he was unable to, convert. He also missed Juju on the next play, 3rd and 5, so Steelers had to punt the ball away. But again, at least it wasn't a 3 and out, so that was good to see, and it was good to see that, maybe you would like to see more yards with 2 runs, but it was good to see that we were able to get it to a 3rd and 4, so it wasn't 3rd and long. So we, were able to pick up 6 yards on the 2 consecutive runs. So that was, good to see. Well, again, the drive didn't end well. Of course, we had to kick the ball away, so there you have it. First defensive series, and it got a little concerned when I saw this. Chubb picks up 11 yards on the first play of the drive. Browns get Highsmith matched up against Landry. This is a point of emphasis I'm going to go into a little bit later. But yes, Jarvis Landry was matched up against Alex Highsmith, and of course they convert for the first down, an easy first down on that conversion. And right after that, Nick Chubb scores on a 47-yard touchdown, missed tackles by Sutton and Minkah Fitzpatrick on that particular play. But again, you got to take your hat off, man, to Nick Chubb. He is an outstanding running back. He has the speed, he has the patience, he has the shiftiness, and this is going all the way back to his days in Georgia. I liked him then, when I was looking at Roquan Smith on the opposite side of the ball. I also paid attention to Nick Chubb as the running back. So sometimes you got to give credit to the excellent offensive player. You don't always, and I know we like to do this as fans, you can't always say, oh, the defense, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you have to give credit to the opposing offense and the opposing skills player. And Nick Chubb, he did an excellent job on that play. Got Minkah turned around. And I don't know if we want to say that it was a bad, angle or bad position that he caught Minkah in. But either way, Minkah couldn't secure the tackle. But even before that, closer to the line of scrimmage, Cam Sutton misses the tackle. So there you have it. And at that point, the Browns go up 7-0. And I'm like, okay, here we go. All right, let's get into it. Second possession. Steelers go 3 and out on the very next drive after the touchdown by Nick Chubb. But what was interesting, we saw Josh Dobbs come in on a 2nd down play, and the pitch play was blown up. He did basically your basic pitch to Ray McLeod coming across the formation, got blown up, and again, we went 3 and out. Right after that, Browns get the ball back in, and what do you know? Mike Tomlin wins a challenge on the Browns' 2nd drive. Peoples-Jones was out of bounds, on the sideline catch. If you guys remember that, he got 1 foot in, got the knee down. But however, before that second knee went down, his left forearm hit the white line. That is out. And Mike Tomlin and crew challenged, and they won it. Wow. Something that we're not often talking about. So it was good to see that. Brings up a 3rd and 11, and the Steelers were able to get off the field. Excellent. Third possession. Steelers get the run game going a bit again. First play picks up 9 yards. Second play picks up 7 yards. But then Washington was unable to handle a second down pass, so he's unable to catch it there. Rudolph converts a 3rd and 8 to Chase Claypool, and then Rudolph misses Claypool on the same drive deep, down the right sideline, and the Steelers were forced to punt. Right after that, Justin Lane gets beat deep to put the Browns in Steelers territory. And it was about a 40-something yard, pass and catch. And Justin Lane just looked like he didn't know what he was doing. I've marked this play already to go back and look at for Terrible Towel, on Tuesday. We'll take a look at the film. But Justin Lane just looked like he just didn't know what he was doing. He looked a little lost. I really want to hone in and see what he was looking at. I don't know if he was peeking in the backfield, but when a cornerback is stuck like this and they're looking around and they look up and the ball is flying over their head, that's not a good position to be in. So I want to see what caused that. What was he looking at? I can't remember whether or not it was play action. If you guys remember that, great. Put it in the chat, to inform everyone else. But I don't remember exactly what happened on that play. I just know the ball flew over his head and it just didn't look good. And I kind of mentioned that to Kenyon and Tony live during the game. Is cornerback is a position of concern, man, and I'll get into that maybe at the end of my going through what happened of the game. Hopefully I don't forget. So anyway, Steelers were able to hold them to a field goal. Minka had two good plays in the back of the end zone, one of them being a PBU, the second one being tight coverage on Njoku. And, they're unable to catch the ball inbounds, and the Steelers held to a field goal. So I thought that was a good contest by the defense to at least hold it to a field goal when you're kind of reeling a little bit. You had already given up a big touchdown on the prior drive, and then you give up a big play here. It's easy for a team to deflate right there, right? You hold strong, you force them into a field goal, you get the ball back. So fourth possession, Steelers trying to establish the run again. Once again, Dobbs comes in on a 3rd and 3. Hands off to McFarland for the first down. It was a nice read option there, and Dobbs made the right read. We're going to talk about this too a little bit later. Rudolph throws a beautiful deep ball to Deontay Johnson. Dobbs picks up another 13 on the next play after that with a keeper. And then the Steelers are unable to convert unfortunately, in the red zone. They were unable to get a touchdown, settle for a field goal. And I will say the play right before that 3rd down play, Little Al, as I've been calling Villanueva all season now, Little Al gave up big-time pressure on the play. Rudolph really didn't have much, nowhere to go, had to get rid of it. And there you have it. Steelers settle for a field goal. All right, so at this point, what is it, 10-3? Chris Wormley gets a sack on Baker Mayfield to bring up a 3rd and 16 on the following drive. Tomlin calls a timeout with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. I mean, and the Steelers are able to get off the field. Now, here's the question, guys. Did Mike Tomlin hear the show? Did he hear my rant that I went on last week? My cousin Floyd texted me that during the game as well, and we had a good laugh about it. Wow. Did I see good time management and good usage of timeouts by Mike Tomlin, calling a timeout at the 3 minute and 25 second mark? Good job, Mike Tomlin and crew. Where was this last week? I just don't know. I just don't know, right? But anyway, Steelers are able to get off the field. And I just wrote here, laugh out loud. He must have heard the show because clearly he did what we said, right? 5th possession, Little Al gets called for holding. Backs the Steelers up to a 1st and 20. And Rudolph getting out of the pocket. Connor drops the pass, brings up a 2nd and 20. And then he comes right back to Connor, and Connor picks up 11 yards to bring it to a 3rd and 9. Right after that, Rudolph finds Juju for a big pickup to move the chains. And that was a nice tight throw there. Nice concentration by Juju as well, because the DB made it, swipe at the ball. And Juju kind of catches it here and flips it over. But, it was a good throw. Rudolph zipped it in there. Juju made the play. We moved the chains, right? Right after that, what do I have here? Rudolph gets sacked, and it brings up a 3rd and 13 on the next series of drives. Next series of plays there. And I felt like Rudolph held the ball a little too long there. I don't know if you guys remember that play. I think Olivier Vernon made the sack there. Rudolph was kind of doing this in the pocket. He was standing squarely in the pocket, just looking. And I kind of felt like he held the ball a little too long. I know it's a little tough in that situation because you're in the pocket. So it's not like you can throw the ball away, unless you're just going to try to heave it, through the back of the end zone. So, I would like to see him get rid of the ball sooner, but I'll be honest, I don't know what he does in that situation. I don't know if he's going to look to scramble, et cetera, et cetera. But, I had to score him down on that one. Held the ball a little bit too long, gave up the sack. And at this point, what happens after that? I wrote here, Dobbs comes in for a 3rd and 13. A 3rd and 13, right? He comes in, Dobbs picks up enough with his legs to get us in field goal range. So while I will say we didn't get the first down, I definitely feel like that we were just going to try to run the ball and get back to at least a field goal range right there. Even the commentator said as much. Clearly, when Dobbs came in, Dobbs was coming in to do some type of, read option or a pitch handoff, a quick touch pass or something like that. Didn't really throw the ball downfield. So it was kind of reminiscent of how the Eagles were using Jalen Hurts earlier in the season when he came in. It was going to be something like that. Never got the sense that you thought Dobbs was going to throw it. But again, it presented a different element. Got us in field goal range. And what do you know? Matthew Wright hits a 46-yard field goal, right? The guy that I said I didn't have confidence in with kicking because his leg is weak. I still think his leg is weak, but, I guess 46 yards or so is decent range for him. He got it in there. It wasn't a strong kick, but he made it. At this point, it's 10-6. So we go into the second half. Browns start off. Nick Chubb picks up 6 on the first play. Steelers force an incompletion on the next play. Brings up a 3rd and 4. And the Browns were able to pick up just enough for the first down. I think that was a pass to Landry, and he got just enough, got right at the line. Mayfield loses his footing on the next play to avoid Alex Highsmith, who was getting a lot of pressure, by the way. Guys, there's a reason why I have him in the thumbnail. We'll get to that. Brings it to a 2nd and 17. Landry picks up 14 yards on the very next play. I did not like that. But it brings up a 3rd and 3, and the Browns come up short of the line. They attempted to go for it on 4th and 1, but they were then called a 4-false start, so the Browns have to punt. So turned out to be a good defensive stand there by the Steelers. 6th offensive possession. Steelers lose yards on 2nd down run, where there were a lot of times when we tried to run wide. Well, most of the times when we tried to run wide, Browns was meeting us at the line of scrimmage or behind it. It just didn't turn out to be a good situation. So after losing some yards, it brought us to a 3rd and 8. Rudolph finds Claypool again on a deep ball to convert. Steelers unable to convert the following 3rd and 10. We have to settle for another field goal of 46 yards, which Matthew Wright hit. Score is now 10-9. Turning point of the next drive. Nick Chubb gets the handoff. We blow it up. I've got to go back and see who missed that tackle, but we blow it up in the backfield. Might have been Highsmith or somebody like that. Blow it up in the backfield, but Nick Chubb is able to escape. He does just enough, and he gets a couple yards. Picked up like 1 or 2 yards, and it made it a 3rd and manageable. Now, the reason why I think that was a turning point of this drive, because obviously they finished the drive with a touchdown. But I feel like if we get him in the backfield right there, if he loses 5 yards or so, puts us in a better situation to defend it, right? Maybe we get off the field, maybe not. It's always a what-if situation. But I think that was a key moment of that drive, because what happened from there? Nick Chubb makes it, 3rd and manageable. Steelers give up a 3rd and 5 to Njoku. Nice catch by him. He picks up 14 yards. Mayfield scrambles for 28 yards on that drive. We were in man coverage. Let me pause right there and say this. You hear me say all the time, and I'm guilty of saying this. I like to take my chances in certain situations, down and distance or situational football. I like to take my chances and play man in certain spots. Sometimes you want to drop in zone. You want to confuse the offense. But I'd like to just be mano a mano. We're going to play man. We're going to get good pressure. Hopefully the guys hold up on the back end. We get you off the field. But what happens when you run man coverage against a mobile quarterback or just any quarterback that can run, can get out of the pocket? That's what happens. You open up running lanes if the pressure doesn't get there, because Mayfield is able to escape. Pocket collapsed on him. He's able to scoot through. Picks up 28 yards. Why? Because everybody in the secondary's back is turned to the quarterback. So we gave up a 28-yard scamper there. It happens, guys. Browns were able to score on that drive, which sucks. Really sucked big time right there. They were able to score. So now we get back to the Steelers' 7th possession offensively. J.C. Eisenhower is called for an ineligible man downfield on the screen. Steelers are forced again into another 3rd and 8. And guess what happens? The bad decision of Rudolph showed up on this particular play because Rudolph threw an interception. Now, the reason why it happened, defensive coordinator brought the house. They brought a huge blitz. Blitz got home. Rudolph panicked a little bit, tried to force it to Juju. Defensive players undercut it, right there to undercut Juju. It's an interception, and he returns it for 30 yards. So that was a bad play right there by Rudolph. If I have to score him in this game, and I'm going to get to how I feel about Rudolph in a minute, that wasn't the brightest spot. I think Rudolph played relatively well in the game. I'll talk about it here in a moment, but that was one of the moments that I was like, that's a little ugly. Now, some people will say, well, what do you do in that situation? Do you eat the sack? Try to throw the ball away? Perhaps a veteran eats the sack. Or a veteran, a more seasoned quarterback may identify the blitz and you audible to a hot route. Maybe that happens. So if that's Ben Roethlisberger, maybe he handles that better. We all know, I don't know how it has been throughout the ending part of the season, but we know earlier in the season they were saying Roethlisberger was the best quarterback in the league against the blitz. So you expect if that's Roethlisberger, something else happens. Also, if that's Roethlisberger, maybe the defense, they don't send the house. So it's a chess match based on who you're playing. So we will never know what would happen if that was Ben. I'm just trying to explain to you guys why that happened. And again, Rudolph didn't make the best decision there. He throws a pick. All right. So right after that, the Steelers give up a touchdown to the Browns on that very next drive following the turnover. So the Browns get points off for the turnover. It's now 24-9. 8th possession offensively. Nice first down pickup by Chase Claypool. The Steelers were forced to go for it on a 4th and 6. And Rudolph converts to Deontay Johnson on a deep ball. Oh, no, that was the comeback route, I believe, on the left side. Rudolph then goes deep to Claypool and misses him on a shot to the end zone. Unable to convert another 50-50 ball to Washington in the end zone. But then the Steelers were forced into a 4th and 10, forced to go for it. They do. And Mason Rudolph finds Claypool on a 50-50 ball for the touchdown. Outstanding play by Claypool. And I love the fact that Rudolph took the chance on that one-on-one situation. And again, Claypool fighting through good coverage. Pass interference, I'll get to that. But fighting through that coverage, we get the score. It is now 24-16. Next after that, Mayfield able to pick up first downs again by scrambling. It was a 3rd and 2 where he scrambled and got the first down. Mayfield scrambles again for another first down later in that drive, and it was a clear hold on Mondu. You guys remember that play? Clearly a hold on Mondu. He scrambles, picks up the first down. Then Highsmith gets great pressure, and Tuitt is able to find Mayfield for the sack, brings up a 4th and 7. The Browns decide to go for it, but they're unable to convert, so the Steelers get a shot, get the ball back. So here we are, guys, only our 9th possession offensively. Steelers start the drive with 2 incompletions, brings up a 3rd and 10, and then Rudolph finds Juju to convert for a 13-yard pickup. Steelers are called for a false start by Kevin Dotson. And then Rudolph takes a deep shot and hits Deontay Johnson all the way down to the 10-yard line of the Browns. Man, Deontay Johnson has really stepped up these last couple weeks, catching some balls that you wouldn't expect him to catch because he's been missed the drops, right? And let's think about that throw that Rudolph made earlier in that game to Deontay Johnson down the right side of the field, right over the shoulder. I think that was in the first or 2nd quarter. Yeah, he had a couple throws out there. But anyway, hits Deontay Johnson. Deontay kind of splits the corner in the safety and able to get low, cradle it, and boom. Next thing you know, we're on the 10-yard line. Steelers run the ball, I believe, to McFarland on the next play. We pick up 5. And then later on that drive, Rudolph finds Juju for the touchdown. However, we were unable to convert the 2-point conversion. Claypool was held on that play. But the score was now 24-22. We go for the onside kick. Almost had a chance to recover that thing, man. And I feel like if we would have recovered that, I know this is wishful thinking, but I feel like if we would have recovered that, we may have just have gotten into field goal range enough to kick a field goal to win the game, and that would have been crazy. But we didn't. Browns get the ball back. On the very first play, they handed off to Chubb. Vince Williams was obviously held, on the 8-yard pickup by Chubb. No call. And then on a 3rd and 1, I believe it was, Mayfield is able to, keep the ball around the right side, left side of the defense, and he's able to pick up enough for the first down. He gets up happy. It is what it is. Browns get into the playoffs. Congratulations to them. But like I said a little earlier, man, I put on Twitter, some people agree, some didn't. I don't really care about that. Just my thoughts. If I'm a Browns fan, I'm not overly excited by that win when you consider the amount of people the Steelers had out defensively. Now, of course, the Browns had some guys down as well. A Denzel Ward being out is critical. Absolutely. But I'm just referring to the Browns offense and what they've shown that they could be capable of at certain times of this season, kind of struggling at certain spots, against, at one point we had Pierre out there playing cornerback. You know what I'm saying? We had Bugs in the game. We had Carlos Davis in the game. Sean Davis played a good portion. And no Cam Hayward, no TJ Watt. Yeah. And the Browns barely won the game. So that's what I meant. I know some people took it out of context. This is not a disgruntled Steelers fan saying that. I didn't care whether we won this game or not, to be honest. It didn't matter to me. Like I said, seeding doesn't really matter. Clearly, the Buffalo Bills handled their business, so we were going to be the number 3 regardless. Right? And as soon as we decided to rest players, we already knew how this game was going to potentially go. Cleveland needed to win. The Steelers didn't. And that's how it unfolded. A couple takeaways. I think people who played well in this game, man, Juju in spots, but you got to particularly speak on Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and the last 2 guys I'm going to spend some time talking about. Alex Highsmith. Once again, he's starting to show consistency with his pass rush. Spin move showed up again in this game. And he's getting closer and closer and closer. Got a sack in this game. He's looking like he's getting his footing together too, with the run game, run defense as well. Alex Highsmith, I think, guys, might turn out to be one of the really good steals in the draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it seems like we've been doing that the last couple years. Deontay Johnson was a steal when we got him. Sneaky. I didn't know who he was. Most of us didn't even know who he was. And look what he's turned out to be. All he has to do is catch the ball. But I've said it for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to say it again. That's your number 1 receiver. Deontay Johnson is our number 1 receiver. It's very clear. On performance, on skill set, on the amount of targets, he's your number 1 receiver. And the boy is here. Again, that over-the-shoulder catch that Rudolph threw to him early in the game, yeah, he's starting to really look like somebody that used to be there. Not saying they're the same, but remember, I was one of the first ones to say this guy is going to be our AB as far as how we utilize him. And it looked like it's coming into fruition. Chase Claypool, man, just playing big today. Playing really big today, man, and I like that. Very tough. It's good to see those 50-50 balls because, a week or so ago I was kind of criticizing, not criticizing, but giving feedback saying that he doesn't always attack the football when it's in the air. But, I love the effort that he put up today, even on the ones that he didn't catch. He's only going to get better as time goes on. Again, Juju, being what Juju needs to be for this team, which is the reason why I hope we bring him back. And James Washington was kind of the lone man out today. He had a drop early. It was a good defensive play, but he didn't really do as much today. So it is what it is. But let's get back to this other guy. Mason Rudolph, guys. Let me pull up his stats first off. Let's pull up his stats. I want to be a little accurate here. Going to give you my assessment of Mason Rudolph here in just a moment. Let me just see what the statistics were. Oops. Sorry for all that noise, man. It's NFL Network making that noise there. Mason Rudolph was 22 of 39. Not the best, percentage-wise. 315 yards passing. 2 touchdowns. 1 interception. I'm going to tell you guys. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't like Mason Rudolph. And I'm looking at the chat because I'm keeping my eyes on some of the people who continue to hate him, now trying to praise him. Guys, this is what I've always said about Mason Rudolph. I see Jacob Bellinger says, don't drink the Mason Kool-Aid. Listen, I've been telling you guys all along. Do I think Mason Rudolph is a franchise quarterback? I don't think so at this moment. What have I always said about Mason Rudolph, even last year when he had his good games? Mason Rudolph has what it takes, in my opinion, to develop into a decent quarterback. You're not gonna, convince me otherwise. He has these moments where you're like, okay, if he can get it together, will he ever do it? I don't know. But again, my eye test is different maybe than some of you guys' eye test. Some of you guys will clearly say he just doesn't have it. All right, maybe we're looking at different things. But there are elements of Mason Rudolph's game that I like. I'm not talking about him being the heir apparent. I want to make that distinction very clear. Because anytime we talk about Mason Rudolph, some of you think that I'm trying to say he should be the next. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Well, I'm speaking solely to those people who are so ready to throw him out the door as the backup. Remember, we went through the same thing with, what's his name? What was the boy's name? Landry Jones. We went through the same thing, right? And come to find out, he turned out to just be the guy that's just there just in case. He's not going to be your franchise guy. But I want everybody to realize it's not easy to find quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think Mason Rudolph is the worst backup quarterback in the NFL. I don't. I just think he has these moments where he panics and he kind of loses his senses a little bit. And I'm speaking on last season through today. Today, he looked more like a quarterback that you might be able to work with him. Again, now that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And again, I'm not going to sit here and try to change nobody's opinion. It's yours, just like I have mine. But what I saw today was a more confident Mason Rudolph. What I liked from Mason Rudolph today, and what I've liked in some cases in the past, because last year he didn't always do it, he took shots down the field. He took shots down the field at no avail. And it paid off in a lot of situations. He showed some poise in some situations today. That last third down conversion to Juju, getting himself out the pocket, zipping it in there. He showed some flash today. And when I mean flash, I just mean consistency, serviceable. I am not talking about franchise quarterback after Ben. I don't know if that's Mason Rudolph. I don't think that's him at the moment. So if we all can agree to that, maybe you can see what I'm trying to say about Mason Rudolph. Yes, he should remain on the team for next year. At the very least, let him play out his rookie contract. But I think, to me, he did some things for himself today, at least in my opinion. I think he looked like a better Mason Rudolph today. That interception was bad. Like I said, those things can be corrected. Ben Roethlisberger has thrown bad interceptions. We saw one, just recently, a couple weeks ago. You understand what I'm saying? To what's the kid who picked him off? Alexander. So don't do that. don't do he threw a pick and he's horrible again. But like I said, that's your guys' opinion. I'm not gonna sit here and make you feel a different way about Rudolph. I'm just giving you my opinion. That's it. Let me see what you guys say real quick, man. Deb says exactly. Lanisha says preach it. What else? Jacob says, look, Mason Rudolph has the same butt chin that Tom Brady does. So obviously he. Okay, come on, Jacob. Let's be serious for a second. Knight Rider says, you can tell that interception was just a growing pain interception. It can be fixed. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying. Dante Harris says he's maturing. He likes to throw the deep ball. That's a high percentage of his college passes. Again, last thing I'm going to say about Rudolph. If y'all watch that game today and y'all going to tell me that he's still straight trash, we just disagree. And again, for the record, I don't know what he's going to turn out to be. I have no idea. All I'm saying is I saw a better Mason Rudolph play today, and the kid almost pulled off a possible win to knock out a division foe, to knock them out the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. Shout outs to C. Antoine Hill, man, for the donation. I appreciate that. He says, I don't hate Mason. He's just not the franchise quarterback. I believe the way our offense is set is more fit for a more mobile quarterback like prime Big Ben. That's a fair assessment, but that's not what I've been arguing at all to anybody. I've never said that this guy was going to be the heir apparent. So that's all I'm saying. If we all can agree to that we don't think he's the answer, we just talk about who's the guy that's going to be Ben's backup or be maybe the fill gap until we get the franchise quarterback. It might be Rudolph. He might be able to do just enough until you find the guy. Or he may surprise us all and he may develop into a franchise quarterback. Who knows? So that's all I'm going to say. Billy Smith says if he would have played like this last year, we would have made the playoff. That's what I'm saying. The kid did enough today, man. That's all. So let me go to the rest of my takeaways, man, and then we'll get to a few phone calls and we'll be out of here. Randy Fiedner, come in the office really quick. Randy Fiedner, you're not in trouble. I have a question for you. And I want everyone in the chat to hear this too. Kenyon kind of brought this up during the game. I have a question for you, Randy Fiedner. You could tell us. He won't hear it. Don't worry. He won't hear it. Are you opening the playbook up a little more with Ben Roethlisberger not in the game? Now, I asked that because I saw a lot of different things happening today. I also asked that because some would say because Ben didn't play, we're going to utilize both Dobbs and Mason. Okay, well, what about when Ben does play? Could you still utilize Dobbs as the number 2 and still work those packages in? Could you? Would you? Is that possible? Makes you wonder. I did see a lot of communication with Matt Canada out there with the quarterbacks. Even saw Juju talking to him. Was you allowing Matt Canada to do a couple things today that we didn't know about? I don't know. I'm just wondering. Because that type of offense today, and I'm not saying it was super explosive or anything, but we took a lot of shots downfield, number 1. But number 2, we did just enough to kind of keep teams off balance. What we were all saying last week about how Jacoby Brissett is being used, you actually did that with Dobbs today. I like that. Give the defense something else to think about. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to throw the playbook out the window because I know as fans, people seem to think, oh, that play didn't work. The play calling is trash. No, it's not always that. It's a lot of different factors that go into a play working or not working. But what I do want to see is from the play call standpoint, I want to see some sprinkles of some different things, wrinkles that makes the defense think. And I saw that today. That Josh Dobbs stuff was working. Sometimes it didn't work. You know, when we did the little jet sweep to Ray, it didn't work. Some of the runs didn't necessarily work, but sometimes they did. We had success with the read option, whether he kept it or not. That's all I'm saying. Can we add some more of that flavor? Just to give a defense something to think about. That's all. And I got to say this again, Tomlin's challenges and time management were much better this week. Wow. Interesting, right? I said Browns running the football with ease in the first half. And again, I'm not going to put so much stock into that because all of the guys weren't out there, but it's still concerning to watch that. Because even when we've had our full first string out there, the first string that we've had, you know, since the loss of Bush, since the loss of Dupree, guys have been still able to run the football on it. So that's still a concern right there, especially we're about to face the Browns again, you know, and they can run the ball. So a little bit of a concern. Steelers getting caught again. Keith Butler, please come in the office really quick, man. Really quick, because I'm trying to burn through this. Keith Butler, I need you to figure something out. Listen, I know it's a chess match. I understand that. Football is a chess match. But you've got to find ways to combat getting linebackers lined up against Landry. Now, I will give credit to the Browns because I'm sure the personnel they throw out there may dictate who you put out there, but then they spread us out. Now you got Highsmith or Williamson lined up against Jarvis Landry, and that, my friend, is not going to work. We're going to have to figure something else out come next week because it's just not a good matchup. I wrote here, Rudolph looks better, made a beautiful throw to Deontay Johnson in the second quarter. That was that early one, but then also later on in the game, he made some great throws, I thought. I wrote here, Dobbs running the read option was a bit productive early in the game today, so I just talked about that. And one of the last things I will talk about, man, the refs missed, in my opinion, a lot of PIs today. I'm not trying to be Steelers biased because they didn't really call them against us either. But we got to develop we have to establish some consistency amongst crews. If you're going to let them play like that, I'm fine with it. But the way y'all call these tic-tac PIs, sometimes now as a fan, when you see obvious ones and they're not called, it makes you lose your mind. Because there were a lot of calls missed, particularly against Chase Claypool. How about the holding calls? My goodness. Vince Williams got held ridiculously. Mondo got held ridiculously. Highsmith was being held ridiculously. No calls. That is crazy. That's crazy. So the refs got to get it together. And then the last positive thing I would talk about, man, the Steelers only had 2 penalties as of the 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I would believe that they ended the game that way. Only 2 penalties. And that's amazing. Being that there were a lot of, backup players offensively and defensively out there. So that was good to see. But the last thing, man, somebody said, is Hayden back next week? He's not. Hayden will miss the playoff game as well. So that sucks because of, the 10-day protocol. But listen, I'm walking away from this game, man, not feeling, any certain way. Listen, I didn't expect that we would win the game because we didn't play our full complement of players. But we played a lot better. Like I said, man, like I tweeted, and again, it's not with any ill intent. I just said if I was a Browns fan, the same way I'm a Steelers fan, I wouldn't feel good at how we won that game. Because I feel like, if I'm a Browns fan, we should have came out and been able to roll over some of these backup players and get it done, and they didn't. Nick Chubb still had a day. He still rushed for, let me see what he had on the ground. And they probably should have stuck to that. Oops. It's, of course, NFL Network is playing stuff on the app here. Let's see. The Browns had Nick Chubb was 14 for 108 with 1 touchdown. Baker Mayfield, 6 carries for 44 yards. Kareem Hunt, 10 carries for 37 yards. And here's another funny stat. Baker Mayfield, 17 for 27 for 196 yards. Listen, man, no disrespect to Baker Mayfield, except for that game when they played the Ravens that Monday night, I think it was, or Sunday night, whatever day that was. Baker Mayfield don't really do much, man, through the air. He doesn't. And I'm not trying to disrespect him. I'm just saying, if you can kind of control their run game and, get it to a point where play action is not really the potent threat, they ain't doing too much, right? So it was interesting to see that we were able to stay in this game, man. 22-24. I mean, we finished the season 12-4. So congrats to all those people who predicted a 12-4 or a 13-3. I didn't see it, but somehow y'all saw it. So congrats to you guys. A couple other stats I will mention here, man. Again, we already talked about Rudolph, and for you guys that came in late, 22 of 39, not the greatest percentage, but 315, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, which was a panic throw. And, maybe if you take that off the board, you would say he had a really, really good day. James Conner, of course, the most we rushed was for 37 yards. That's not going to get it done. Conner at 37, Dobbs at 20, Benny Snell 10, and Anthony McFarland 17. Held to 85 yards on the ground. It's just not going to get it done. But look at our receivers, man. Claypool, 5 for 101, 1 touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 3 receptions for 96 yards. Juju, 6 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, man. So we'll see. I'll save some of my other thoughts and feelings as we get closer to the playoff game. But I didn't expect too much out of today's game. So let's get to a few of these calls, man, and we'll get out of here, man. We'll try to end this thing sooner than later. So you guys know the routine. If you're listening in, I need you guys to be quick, fast, man. Quick, fast. Very first call, area code 843. What you got for us?
Hello, yeah. Thanks for taking my call, so I thought that the game was pretty interesting. Like you said, the Browns only beat us by 2. That makes me very hopeful if we're playing them next week without starters. I thought Mason looked pretty decent. I mean, I don't get all the Mason hate at this point. I think the boys showed downfield. I mean, yeah, he made some mistakes, but I mean, he hasn't really complained. So I think coming off the bench, I mean, he looked pretty good. Our receivers look good. I was concerned for Claypool. A lot of people said we shouldn't arrest our starters. Well, that's why we rested him, because Claypool got a little shipping up on one of those plays. I don't know if you guys saw that, but anyway, thanks, son.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call, man. And just to give you a heads up, it sounds like it on my side, but also the chat was saying it kind of sounded like you were far away. I could hear what you were saying, but it did sound like you might have been like in a cellar talking. So just giving you a heads up, man, for the next time you call in. But yeah, and I won't spend a lot of time replying to you guys either, because if I'm going to tell you guys to be quick, then I need to do the same. But I agree. I think, listen, you come away from this game not having any preconceived notion for Rudolph, whether you like him or dislike him. I think you look at that game and you say, oh, okay, he didn't do too bad. And that's it. That's all. That's all. I'm not trying to plead a case. I'm just saying, look, man, I don't think the kid is the worst quarterback in the league right now as far as backups. Give him a chance to grow, man, and he looked better today. So there you have it. Area code 803. What you got for us?
Hey, good evening. How you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Take away some things. Yes, give Mason Rudolph an off season. I've been critical of him too. Give him an off season. One thing you got to say, he has improved from year to year to year. He didn't have an off season this year, so give him an off season before we make that determination, because his contract is coming up. I love that our guys show enthusiasm and chippiness, especially for this game. But Isaiah Dubbugs and Mike Davis, we don't need you throwing punches at each other on the sideline. Juju Smith-Schuster, I was shocked today. I did not realize, I believe Juju has almost 100 catches this year.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
I didn't know that either.
Last but not least, the grabby Browns. I mean, they were grabbing all day. And the referees, like you said, did not make the calls. I mean, they were grabbing our guys and everything. Thank you very much, and see you guys Tuesday night. Happy New Year.
Man, 803. Appreciate you calling, sir. As always, man. I love your perspective. And I'm gonna say this and see if other people feel the same. You've already explained to us that you're older than a lot of us. But when you speak, it kind of calms everything, if that makes sense. Like the wisdom, and I just appreciate that kind of thing, man. Especially like, again, visiting my dad yesterday, I kind of get that vibe, and that I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like I always love when you call, man, because it just hearing you talk and how you talk just kind of levels everything out. It has that father vibe to it, man. So that's why I always say sir and things to you. As just a sign of respect, man. Maybe that's just the way I was brought up. But yes, let's not be so harsh on Rudolph, man. I mean, guys, Ben is back next year and Rudolph is going to be the backup. So why not root for him to at least improve? Nobody's saying he's a franchise quarterback. I'm just saying, I don't know why we are so down on him. The process starts again when we draft a quarterback, if we draft one in 2021, which I don't think we will. So that's all I'm saying. Oh man, I forgot. It was something else you said I wanted to comment on, man. And I forgot. My bad. But yes. Appreciate. Oh, Juju, really quick. I did not know that either. And I'm gonna actually look up the actual number. I had no idea. Juju is almost at 100 receptions this year. Quiet. Y'all give my man his respect. Next call, area code 678. What you got for us?
Thank you for taking my call, Sim. Three things. I don't think we need to get rid of either one of the backup quarterbacks. I think we need to keep Randy Fichtner. As long as Ben is still the quarterback, let's just keep everything familiar. Like the young man said beforehand, he is growing up year by year. And like you were saying, he's a good backup. It's hard to get a franchise quarterback in this league, let alone a good backup. And he is a good backup. But most importantly, I really noticed how you were, in on the Holton. And it's so inconsistent not just today, but through this whole season, how people have been able to hold our wide receivers, hold our outside linebackers. And like I've been saying, it seems like all season, we have to play the team and the refs. And, you just got to find some type of consistency. The consistency is like you call Steven Nelson for pass interference last week, and he's doing the same type of thing that Cleveland's doing today. So which is it? Is it, good play Cleveland, bad play us? And it just seems like all the time it's bad play us. Thank you for taking my call.
Man, you're absolutely welcome, man, and I appreciate you calling. And like you said, and you might even be one of the ones who references the holding every week. So if you are, I want to give you your credit on that. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like today was super obvious, and they just didn't call it. Really quick, man, let me pivot real fast. I was looking it up just now. It's not updated on the Steelers site, but I see you guys already have it. Juju, as of today, ended with 97 catches, receptions, 831 yards. And this is a season where clearly we were spreading the ball around. I'm just saying, man. Let me see what Deontay has on the season. 85. Listen to this. This is before this game, so I didn't factor in his because I'm reading off the Steelers site. They only had Juju right now at 91, but obviously they didn't count the 6 for the day. But before today, Deontay Johnson, 85 receptions, 827 yards. Chase Claypool, 57 receptions, which, of course, all of this is higher than this today. 772 yards. Do y'all see this? All three of them had opportunities to get very close to 1,000 yards, and that's the kind of offense I love. Spread the wealth. Ebron, 56 receptions, 558 yards. I love it. Next up, man, where did we leave off? We got a couple more in here. Area 651, what you got for us?
What's going on, Sim? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I ain't gonna talk too much about Rudolph. He did well, which we've been saying in the off season. You give him a chance, let him grow up a little bit. You never know what you get. But I remember saying a week or so ago that I hope that Canada was making a package for Dobbs, and it showed today. I don't know how it showed today, and people were saying, well, they didn't need that to mess up the rhythm. But what about short yardage situations? We can't get 1 yard to save our lives. But now that's going to freeze a few people, and especially in red zone. And we saw 2 wrinkles out of it today, so that was pretty good. The other thing is Hayden. This might be a bad situation for him if Sutton comes out and plays well this week in the playoffs, because I was saying I'm under the impression we're going to have to keep him and Hilton. And Hayden may be the one out because we can't afford to lose either one, really. We don't draft corners well. Lane didn't show us a lot today, so I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe we have to sign them both. But thanks a lot, man.
Oh, man, you just hit the nail on the head, brother. Man, I'm going to spend a few seconds on that. Wow, the way you put that, I think we have thought that throughout the season, but I never just sat down and analyzed it where saying, well, whoa, we need to keep both of those guys. And maybe, you're right. Hilton is a huge piece. Everybody should know that. As far as what he does, and we all know that Cam Sutton is the emerging, I don't want to say star, but maybe he's the emerging star on the outside, just coverage period. We saw that. We started seeing that last year. We saw that Sutton was more of the coverage guy. Probably covers better than Hilton, right? Can play inside, play out. But Hilton is such an integral piece too, man, because if we lose Hilton, who becomes that slot guy and can do what Hilton does for us? Blitzing, and his pass coverage when it shows up, and his run defense. Right? And you can't lose Sutton either. Both of them is up, right? And Joe Hayden, like my man said, we've been saying, guys, Hayden can't really run no more. He's not the guy that can run downfield like that. No disrespect to him. He's had a phenomenal career, individually. Unfortunately, he just didn't play for a winning team for long. But Justin Lane, man, he just doesn't look like the guy. Let's see what this Pierre guy ends up, if he can stay sharp and hang around. But, yeah, excellent point. We have not drafted corners well. That is a serious concern, man. Last call of the evening, area code 973. What you got for us?
Yeah, good evening, Sam. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
All right. I was a couple of points on the game today. I was very proud of the Steelers, for the day. They had resting most of their players and everything. And Cleveland was bumping their chest a little bit like they really did something. I just hope and pray that we see them. I think if it's right now, I think we will see them. If the next time, if we do see them, we will beat the brakes off them. So, you just have a good night. Love Steeler Nation.
Man, appreciate the call, man. Yes, absolutely. We got to say that. Love Steeler Nation. And let's wrap up here. Take the headphones off. Thank you for all of the callers, man. So if you're listening to this, that was the last call of the night. And we'll wrap up here shortly. One thing I want to throw out there really quick before I give my last thoughts. Shout outs to Glock Lesnar. This is not me challenging you at all. Don't take it this way. But I have a serious question I'm going to throw out there, and I want to see how you answer it or perhaps anyone else. He says, Keith Butler is only good because of the talent, in my opinion. Fair. But here's a question I have for you guys. How do we determine a good defensive coordinator? What are the things you look for? Serious question. I love Rex Ryan when he was a defensive coordinator, but look at that talent he had. I liked Dick LeBeau, but look at the talent he had. Let me think of some other guys out there. I like what the guy in San Francisco has been doing with his defense. Hasn't always had the best talent, but some good talent. So my question is, how do you identify a good defensive coordinator? Because it's fair to say that Butler is only good because of the talent. That's a fair statement considering what Butler has been for us, let's say over the last 6 years. Has gotten a lot better in terms of numbers, but that's fair for anyone in Pittsburgh to say because we know we had our warts with Butler before. But I really want to know that. I really want to hear how you guys respond to that because that, to me, that's kind of a loaded statement. But I'm curious to see how you guys respond to that. My final thoughts, man, for tonight before I get back into the chat. Not tripping about the loss at all, guys. We didn't play most of our starters. We didn't have a lot of guys that maybe should have played, like Hayden and Ebron. Even though Ebron doesn't give us much in the blocking game, he has helped in the passing game. No Ben Roethlisberger, no Pouncey at center, which offensive line I don't think did too bad today. No TJ Watt, no Cam Hayward in the middle. And again, with Hayden being out, you're rotating different corners out there, and Edmonds didn't play. I mean, it was a lot of pieces, and we still hung in there. Here's the number one question, though. Remember what I said earlier, and again, I said Kenyon referenced it during the game. Does this offense look the same with Ben Roethlisberger? Do we see the second half of the Colts, that offense, next week against Cleveland? Are we calling the game differently? Are we back to feeling like we're predictable? So at this point, yes, I think it's possible that Cleveland could give us a run. I'm not confident going into this game whatsoever. It's easy to say, well, we're going to have our starters back. But again, guys, when we play with all of our starters, and let's say that 3-game slide that we had, we wasn't satisfied with the result. I will say Cleveland doesn't look like a powerhouse. They didn't look like that today in a game they needed to win. So you would imagine that maybe when all of our guys back, we'll play better. But not having Hayden is a concern. That is a concern. It's a concern. We'll see how we address that. But I don't know. I don't know. This will be the third time playing them, and it could go either way, in my opinion. I think we're going to have to definitely show up that run defense. And try to box them in a little better like we did today, man. But we really need to get on top of that run game because the run game was working for them. We need to find better ways to stop the run. And I know we're thin at inside linebacker. I know we were even thin on the outside with Marsh not even being able to play today, and he's way down the roster. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about our chances even next week. Remember, I said we was going to be a one and done. I'm going to stay on that ledge. I'm going to stick on that ledge and say that we probably won't win a playoff game. I'm going to say that. Hopefully they surprise us and we get past Cleveland. But it's not going to shock me if we don't. That's all I'm saying. But we'll see. We'll see. I think we have the opportunity to do it, obviously. I think if we lock in offensively like we did against the Colts in the second half, and if we can just mix up our play calling, you know what I mean? And possess the ball, man. I think even Rudolph did some better jobs in spots keeping the drives going. You know, just we got to play that possession game, man. We're going to have to do that against teams that can run the football. It's the only way we're going to win in the playoffs. But all right, man, let me get in the chat. Let me see what you guys may have said about the DC. Kenyon is debating somebody about TJ and 48 and Highsmith. I know that's a weekly debate. Dave T says Butler is a master at pressuring the quarterback he's a master at pressuring the quarterback, matter who is the outside linebacker. Okay, I think a couple words are missing in your statement. Jacob Bellinger says game plan and adjustments define a good coordinator. Okay. Let me ask this question. Again, I'm challenging all of us because, again, a lot of times we are emotional as fans. How do we know what the game plan is? I know what I would say is what I see unfold. I see if we stick into the same type of coverages often, you know, more than not, then I know that was the game plan. Charlie Brown says Butler doesn't make any in-game adjustments. I would agree there. It does seem like we don't make as many in-game adjustments, but we all can't sit here and act like we haven't done that some this season. I think the rate of that could be a lot higher. So I agree. Tony Armstrong says we better come out on fire in the playoffs and not taking our time getting fired up. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Let me read this one. Mr. ABS says a good defensive coordinator, like any coach of any sport, makes use and develops their talent or lack of talent there is. He says getting those late round undrafted players able to contribute when needed. Okay. Good statement, Mr. ABS. Do you think Keith Butler and company has done that? Wave Dave T says, I keep saying T, 10. Wave Dave 10 says, where are the Sean Davis over Edmonds people at? You know what? I mentioned this to Tony and Kenyon during the game. This is off topic, but I think you bring Sean Davis back as a backup. What y'all think? Because we've been hit or miss in that arena as well. You know, even the guy that we thought would eventually be the third safety is now converted to an inside linebacker in a Marcus Allen. So how do y'all feel about bringing Sean Davis back as a backup? It's probably going to be cheap. Debbie says, all this team with Ben has shown that they can lose next week. Don't get ahead of your skis. I'm telling you, man. Debbie, tell us, man. Listen, people gonna kill me for it, but I'm standing on that ledge, man. I'm standing on that ledge and saying that the Steelers will not win the playoff game this season. I don't have reason to believe it. That's all I'm saying. I hope I'm wrong. But the second half of the Colts game does not make me believe we're going to win our playoff game. I just don't believe it. We'll see. Astro says, feeling real good about playing the Browns first week. Yeah. And here's the funny thing. Most of us were saying, I don't want to see the Ravens. If we saying that, that means we know our team ain't going nowhere. True or false? We know we ain't winning no championship this year. If we sitting there saying, I don't want to see the Ravens, man, I feel better about playing. That's what I'm saying, dog. That's my whole point as to why still a nation. I'm standing here now saying, number 7, this is not coming to the Berg this year. It's not coming. Deontay Harris says, a good DC doesn't let the same play beat him in the same game. Every DC makes in-game adjustments. Teams are smart as well and adjust to our adjustments. I'm not challenging that at all as well, Deontay. But again, my Dante, excuse me. My only question is again, how do we explain when we get off the field? When we do 3 and outs? That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying these things just to see where all of us, our headspace is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a victim of saying those things too, but in the grand scheme of things, how do we know? You know, like, there's games that we've had where we've made adjustments and we've gotten off the field. So what was that? You know, do we give Butler that credit? Or, you know what I mean? But great comments, what you guys are saying. Great definitions of what you guys feel a good defensive coordinator is. So I appreciate you sharing that. Jesse George says, laughing my you know what off. AB about to be booming because Evans looks to have a serious injury. Wow, I don't want to laugh at that though if that really happened. Really? He got hurt? That sucks. Yes, ma'am. Sade says Little Al got pushed around again. He sure did. He sure did. This is a good one. Jacob Perkins says, yeah, but everyone knows that the second half Colts are the best football team ever assembled. And we went out there and gave them the work. Man, look, I love everybody's enthusiasm. I'm just letting you guys know where I stand. I hope I'm wrong, but I am not. What somebody told me earlier in the chat, don't drink the Mason juice. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not drinking our Steelers juice to think that what I have seen consistently throughout this season to make me believe that we're going to march through the playoffs. I don't believe that. It would really surprise me if we win next week. I'm just being honest, guys. I stick to my ledge. I don't waver. And that's what I love about my take. And I love when some of you guys do that. I don't do the flip-flop. It ain't enough for me to think that we're going to go out here and we're going to go crazy in the playoffs. It's just not. Owen Kelly says, this game was Cleveland's Super Bowl. They're just happy they made the playoffs. Right. And I'll say as much about them. They ain't going far either. They're not going far either. I mean, when you start talking about the teams that's, you know, likely to be remaining, again, y'all watch out for them Ravens, man. The Ravens seem to be hot right now. And I know they played a relatively easy schedule in the last 3 weeks, if we're going to say that, because remember they said we played an easy schedule, and that's how we won 11. But, you know, they haven't been tested much. However, it was interesting to see them and Cleveland go toe-to-toe in that Monday night game or whatever night that was when it was, I mean, that was crazy. Neither one of them looked like they had defense that night. Let me see. Patrick Price podcast says Mason got carried by Chase. Okay, that's fair. Look, again, like I said, guys, I'm not. Y'all won't catch me trying to change opinions. I don't do that no more. You know, sometimes, you know, the comments will make me feed into it, but I'm going back to my roots. I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna do it. Everyone's opinion is different. Let's see. Let's read a few more and then I'll get out of here. Blitzberg says, we missed the playoffs last year and now doubts in the playoffs. Come on, have some positives. Big Ben is back. That's fair for you to feel that way. I'm just saying, Blitzberg, I live and breathe and eat and sleep Steelers, man. But judging on the way our offense has been this season, no run game, number one. I have zero confidence that our Steelers are going to march through the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. Zero. I have really only about 20% confidence that we win next week. I'm just being real. These ain't emotions. This is eye test. This is statistical data. We can't run the football. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger passing 45 plus times in the playoffs is going to work. I'm just trying to be real, man. That's all. I always want to be positive about my beloved Steelers, but you got to be real too. You can't have rose-colored glasses on, man. You can't. MIB Master Troy Museum 1979 says, Sim, We are going to take it one playoff game at a time. First order of business in the wild card game. We definitely deal in the All right. Hey, I love you guys' confidence. That's all I'm saying. Love it. Yusuf Del Rio says, come on, Sim. Listen, let me say this to y'all again. I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I want y'all to keep this same energy. Keep the same energy if I'm right. Because you know what I'm going to do? If I'm wrong, I'm going to keep the same energy. I'm going to say it the very next week, man. I still don't. I just don't. The Steelers winning the Super Bowl this year will be the surprise of the century to me. And I'll live with that. I will live with me saying I doubted us that whole season and we won it. Good job, Steelers. Love y'all. But I doubted you the whole. I'm fine with that. I want y'all to do the same. Keep the same energy if we lose next week. Keep the same energy. DMTJ 2834 says, always think we have a chance. At our best, we compete with the best, but it's an uphill battle, one that I think we'll fall short of. Hate to agree with you this time. You right, man. I'm just trying to be practical, man. I'm just trying to be practical based on what we see on the field, guys. What have we talked about every week? Steelers can't run the football. Y'all really think that's going to work? Do y'all really think that is going to work in these playoffs? I answer that. I want to hear what you guys say. That's going to be the last thing we talk about tonight. Great point. Derek Moore says if the offense can just possess the ball a little longer and sustain drives and actually score, give the defense a rest. Yeah, you're right. And it's been tough to do that without running the football. It's hard to do that without running the football. Am I off here? Jesse George says, I agree, Sim. Ben looks washed and with no run game, it's going to be tough. But I feel like the rest of the roster is good enough to carry us possibly. But you might be right. Yeah, and listen, guys. I'm not throwing the team out with the bathwater. I'm just saying, visually, statistically, I don't have confidence that we can win. That's all I'm saying. Y'all get it? That's all I'm saying. I don't have confidence that we can win. I'm going to be over the moon if we do. But I don't have the confidence going into this playoffs to say, man, we're going to make a run for it. I can't say that. I can't say that. Rumble Stillskin, I love that. He says, I agree with Sim. I don't think the Steelers team is it. No team has ever won a Super Bowl unable to run the rock. Man, preach on, brother. Preach on. 12 Gauge says, I used to love seeing them pass, but I've come to learn you have to run the ball to win the big ones. Come on, man. Last one. Builder's Life says, here we go. Steelers here. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Big Ben is ready to throw. Here we go. With Connor, Juju, DJ, and Claypool. When they making an updated song. Yeah, man. Afro Thunder says, your prediction has made Terrible Towel Tuesday a sold out crowd. All right, man. Let's. All right, Lyle McCombs. He says, Sim, number one defense carries the offense. All right. Dante says, close me, please, on why we lose next week. Listen, let's end it on this. Do I think it is a definite that we lose next week? I don't. Some of y'all in the chat are saying it's a definite that we win. I don't see how y'all can say that. Pittsburgh Steelers cannot run the football. We have not been able to possess the football. The Pittsburgh Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, with the exception of Indianapolis Colts second half, all the way down to about 5 minutes left in the third quarter, our offense has looked very vanilla. Short passing game, which most defenses are used to. Guess who else going to be used to it next week? The Cleveland Browns. They played Mason Rudolph today. We threw in some different packages today with Josh Dobbs. That's probably gone next week. the quick passing game will probably be back in effect. Now, can we get it going? Will Ben take some more shots downfield like he did against the Colts late in the third quarter? Possibly. We have a chance to win, yes. I'm never going to say that it's impossible that we win. Well, I'm never going to say this season, like some of you guys are saying, that we're definitely going to win. I don't know how y'all think that. No running game. Haven't possessed the football the way we needed to. A lot of 3 and outs this season offensively. Haven't converted on third downs the way we've needed to. And the opposing teams have run the football on us. So Cleveland, if they're able to run the football, again, Watt and Cam and all those guys will be back, but we've still given up. Haven't I said all season we keep giving up run plays of excess 10 yards? A lot of them. I'm just saying, there's absolutely nothing that I've seen that makes me confident that we beat the Browns next week. That's all. If you guys want to say it's definite, have at it. And if I'm wrong, guess what I'm going to say in the post game next week? Man, I really thought I didn't think we was going to be able to pull that out, but we did. And this is why. And I'll go through why it happened. And you know what I'm going to say right after that? Man, we can't do that again next week. You know why I can say that with confidence? Because I'm pretty sure the run game ain't showing up again next week. So until I see us be able to sustain drives and we rush for about 100 yards, or we have at least one rusher like Benny Snell did in the loss against the Bills that can rush for about 84 yards and get about 4 or 5 a pop, then I might change my tone. But we're not seeing that. So until I see that, my stance will be the same. If the Steel Curtain Steeler era, if the 2000s Steelers era, those Steelers that we love, if we can't have that type of mentality and run out the clock and run the football and possess it, we ain't winning nothing. You ain't moving me off of that. So that's it. That's my thoughts. But I'll let you have yours. Again, I'm not going to try to tell you not to think we ain't going to win. Please do. Somebody got to think that. I'm just telling you that the evidence shows me that we don't have a great chance to win. Not even next week. Now, the only thing I can come away from this game with, and I can say, is where Cleveland pretty much their whole starting offense didn't look good against our sub package guys, if you will, as substitute defense. They didn't look that great, and we almost won that. So that's the only thing that I can possibly carry into next week, saying, well, you would think that with our starters out there, we'll be able to win the game, but I just don't have the confidence. I don't have the confidence, man. So there you go. That's all I got. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all coming through. Boom, right here. Make sure you subscribe, cut on your notifications, hit the like button. Please do that. Outside of that, thank you for everyone who donated tonight. I think C. Antoine Hill did. And thank you for you guys who donate outside of YouTube. If you guys are wondering how you could do that, if you prefer to be away from YouTube, I have Cash App, I have PayPal. The information is in the description. Thank you in advance. Other than that, I will definitely see you guys Tuesday night. Normal routine. We'll take a look, a little bit of film, and we could probably start talking about preparation for them as well. I mean, even though I'll more than likely do a pregame this week. I'm gonna probably say I could get that done this week. But we'll do it twofold, I guess, on Tuesday. We'll look at some film, at some, special plays, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to have to do to win that game. And there you have it. So enjoy some football tonight. I'm going to enjoy what's on now, and I'm definitely going to enjoy watch it and try to get themselves into the playoffs. That is crazy. Do you guys realize that there's the potential of a 6-10 team making the playoffs this year? Wow. That is crazy. But all right, man, you guys be well, be safe, be blessed. And thank you for tuning in to the Turbo Towel post-game show. See you on Tuesday. Peace.